We're straight in it.
We are straight into it
We
this
are
time.
straight into it, people.
Okay.
And
So,
together this time. I'm sorry.
I know, right? So, we're going to be doing some character building for Bigley's new slash temporary character. If you missed the last episode, Bigley Smalls decided he wanted to take a little time for himself.
He needed to. He needed to. I needed to. It was a he needed to. It,
He needed some time for himself to really discover himself. To
it
you
it
know,
fed perfectly though too. DM. It fed in so great because okay, with Vitus, I didn't feel Vitus when me going through there. It didn't feel like Vitus thought Big Lee was a threat in any way, shape, or form. And that's how it felt, and which played out very good as well, because even with the battle that he was just in, Bigley got smacked the fuck around. He did help out, you know, played his song and everything like that, but got smacked the fuck around for the most part. And then coming to, and then basically being like, "Oh yeah, hey Bigley, yeah, you're tied in the chair, your person died, ha ha," left, and I'm like, "Fuck you," spitting and missing and making it on me, and then I get threatened, and that's how Andic ended up going. But it made him feel weak. And then the letter wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be because I haven't read it to this day. I had not read the letter because I wanted to keep it everything fresh. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it was basically like a to keep me safe type of letter.
yeah.
I was like, he read, and so it hit perfectly. Like he is now feeling completely useless, and he wants to at least go and maybe become better at his craft so he can help out more later. It
And
was awesome.
I know, like you had brought up, hey, I'd like to maybe have Bigley take a break some time in the future. Nailed it. That
Yes.
was the perfect time because honestly, everybody was just so exhausted after the interrogation and everything, like as a character, that yeah, that was perfectly timed.
it was good. And then yeah, bringing Robbie into this. This is what I think is cool though, because I didn't play into the fact of this world having different rules.
Yeah.
Different races are in a higher standards, and I didn't even bring that into Accord, so you have to go over some of that if you can, if we have time, of course.
Oh yeah, we'll discuss that as we're building out Ravi, because one of those races that has different standards in this world that we play in is the elves. The
Yeah,
elves specifically. That's why when y'all created your characters initially, I said no elves.
it's right.
There's a reason for that, and I'll go over some of the things that the just every elf in this world pretty much has going for it. So,
Let me get my notepad out. Oh, there it is.
oh yeah, you have a PC now versus running it off of your phone. So
Yes.
we can actually send you this character sheet for you to work with because I'm going to build it on
That-
my digital one.
okay.
So,
And does it? What do I have to put in? Can I just go and like have me click on the strengths? I'm able to click on all those just fine.
um, I mean, I could give you control over here if you wanted
No,
to.
no, no. That's not what I mean. Just later on, like when we send it off to me later on,
Oh
I'll be
yeah,
able to be in full control of like changing the strength and all that stuff. No problem.
yeah. And I mean, we'll build it all right here, and then I can just send you the file, and bam, you have it. The best
Sweet.
part about this one is it is it has issues. Okay, this is
Uh
an
huh.
old one that I found a long time ago. It has issues. If you put a character in there wrong, like you add a plus in a box that shouldn't have a plus,
Uh huh.
you could lose your entire character sheet.
So know your shit. Be precise.
Um, if it already, we'll go over it, but
Okay.
there was some spots that I know Andic was having issues with in the past where he would put in a number and you load it up and the sheet's blank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we'll go over that, and it'll what I like to do is I save often in different files. That way, I don't necessarily lose the entire thing, right?
Right.
And for initial creation, that's kind of the whole point. Uh, for leveling up, it's not so bad. So
It should be good then.
So first and foremost, we need to generate some stats for you. Now, this one does have a generate ability score option right here. So we can either do it this way or we can do it with dice.
So will it show on here? The generate? Oh, well, of course it'll show.
So I will. There's multiple ways you can generate them, right? You have your standard 4d6 and drop the lowest die. You have your GIMP, which is 4d6 and drop the highest. Organic, where you roll 18d6 and arrange it in 6 groups of 3. A straight 3d6 roll, standard point buy, 1 for 1 point buy. Like it has options. But
we're going to go with, are we doing standard, right?
Yeah.
Most def.
So my rules with rolling stats are still the same. Okay.
Which are there.
So I will generate these ability scores. Okay. And it's going to put it in strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, right? It will put them in there. You can rearrange them however you want.
Right. Okay.
If you don't like it, you can re-roll it again.
And you get one, and that's it?
Nope. You get 3 chances. Okay.
Okay.
On that third one, you keep it.
Okay.
Okay. So we won't be keeping track of any of this. It will be
this is
6 rolls, or a total of 3 sets of stats. You keep number 1. If you don't keep 1, then you do 2. If you don't want 2, you can't use 1. You have to use 3. Or you use whatever. Like once you've said let's do it again, you can't go back.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I just tweaked my neck a little. Okay, yeah, no. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna give it once. So I'll let it do once, and if I want to re-roll, I'll re-roll it. But it's up to you. But I want this to be I want it to be as close.
All right.
Oh, why is this nerve-wracking for me? Why? I know. I'm like,
look. It's super easy. 1 click. There's your stats.
Oh.
17, 16, 16, and 3 12s.
Oh.
That's pretty damn good. Because
I know, I was
remember,
gonna
at level 4, you're going to have 1 point that can go up. One of these is going to go up because you're going to be level 4.
Possibly intelligence.
Remember, you can
switch them up.
You can shift them around.
You know what? We're going to stick with it. This is what we're going with. First roll, baby. First roll. Now, let's roll with it.
How do you want these organized? So
I'm going just as same as Robbie was the last time. I want him to be a stat rogue. I want to be good at, I also want to be good at, I don't know what I'd put it into on fixing things, because that is something that is picked up through this world as well. So I don't know if it's
you would probably skill. This would be, and then you could readjust this 16 for strength down to con, and that would be pretty close to what Ravi would have been, right? So you could do something like this, where he's not necessarily physically the strongest. Actually, I think this Ravi is a little bit physically weaker in terms of strength, but otherwise, the question is, do you want higher dex or higher intelligence? Because as an elf, you're immediately going to have +2 to your dex. So your dex will be 18. Your intelligence is 17 right now. Throw your 1 in from leveling up. You have 2 18s at that point. Or put the 17 in dex, gain your 2 for an elf, and then your 1 from level 4, and you have a 20 dex. So,
and that the dexterity plays into your start and them hitting you, correct?
Well, for hitting, if we give you the weapon finesse feat, then yes, that will be to hit.
Okay, so that's of course I'm going to go. I had weapon finesse.
Yes.
Or I'm going to keep it.
Remember, the more intelligence you have, the more skill points you have, the more skills you can fill out.
This is true as well. Yeah, that is the truthness. Oh, it's a 1 point. You know what? I want a 17 on dexterity.
You want the 17 on dex? Okay.
Yes. I think that's smart, right? I mean, depending, well, you know how how I play. I think that should be because at 20,
Plus 5.
what would my AC?
By default, without wearing any armor, your AC
Uh-huh.
would be 15 immediately.
See, that is amazing. You see, I at least want to be hard to hit because I already know how my basically my life and all that's gonna might be, but nimble,
Yep.
quick, try not to get hit.
Yeah.
And we also with going in and with those attacks opportunities that could drop on me, I want to make sure that I can at least evade. If I could evade one, take a hit, so I know I'm not going to, I might not die depending on what we're dealing with.
Yeah, might not.
You know.
Well, I can tell you that I run it one of two ways. Either you're going to be dealing with a bunch of small, easy to kill stuff, but there's going to be a lot of it, or you're going to be dealing with a couple high strength. You're not going to want to mess with these things unless you're doing it as a group,
which we've faced in the past. I'll tell you what that was the black dragon that we faced.
Red, but the half red dragon orc. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, I was talking about the last campaign.
Oh, the last campaign. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it was in the rain, right? It was in the rain. Lightning struck
that was a full red dragon. But I gave you guys like Chekhov's gun for those scenarios just because I knew you didn't have a full range of classes, right?
Oh yeah, dude, we were getting stopped by this thing too. We were. Oh, it was a battle. It was a good one though.
It was a very good.
Hard to hit.
So you want to go with these stats?
Yes.
Okay, so
let's lock them in.
Stats are applied. Now, when I go over to page number 1, all your stats here are filled in. Everything that they change has trickled out, aside from anything to deal with attacks and HP and stuff. But
okay,
we'll get to that. So, first off, Ravi is an elf, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And you're just going straight rogue?
Straight rogue. Yes.
Rogue 4. Okay. Ravi. Maxblood4war. All right. What would you like his alignment to be? Now, elves in this world tend to be politicians, merchants, celebrities. They don't have a homeland of their own because, humans have kind of come in and take everything over. So they have embassies. And these embassies, that's kind of their getaway. Elven cultural, like, it's basically where they've consolidated all of their cultural artifacts and stuff like that. So, if an elf starts feeling homesick or, tired of humans, really, they go there, spend some time, cool off. They all get a stipend from, just the elven organization in general. Some more than others, obviously. Kind of depends on where you're at. But that's why so many of them are, merchants and celebrities and so rich. It's because they're just around for so long. They can take the time to do this, gather the power, and the laws of men don't really apply to them.
Right.
Okay, let me rephrase that. It applies, but they have their own form of diplomatic immunity.
The different way that they have to be treated as.
Yes, so they don't, they get caught stealing. They, instead of, getting beaten in the street or dragged to jail or whatever the situation may warrant, they are instead, as soon as they say, as soon as an elf says, take me to the embassy, they are taken to the embassy.
Right.
They just wield that much political power basically everywhere. But there's not a lot of them, is the thing. There's not a lot of elves left. So that's why they have this, this power that they have consolidated and, generated pretty much amongst their, their racial group for so long. So, based off of that, what do you want your alignment to be?
Neutral.
Neutral? That is
neutral.
A good choice.
Yeah, I want it to be, reason being is because how I'm playing Ravi this turn. So Ravi in the other world, he was a rogue, but he actually valued friendship more than money. He valued the togetherness because that's just what he ended up liking. This Ravi does not know that. So this Ravi values money. This Ravi values everything that has been there for him, and that is money. Ravi really hasn't grown up. If it's okay, DM, Ravi would like to be almost a shun elf. Not necessarily shunned as in like, but it was never the one that was invited to stuff. Always, and it all had to play with, I'd like to say it had to play with me being named after a leader. I want to say, or not a leader, but somebody who, it'd almost be like being named Zeus. Then all of a sudden you'd have to hold that ring or something like that.
Yeah.
I was wanting to see if I could, he's just never really had a good friendship, even amongst the community. So that's why he's always been off doing his own thing. He would like to be a part of the Brotherhood.
Yes, and we will go over that organization real quick. It's kind of generic for now. Obviously, things will get more fleshed out as time goes, but
yes,
the description enough kind of fills for it. Okay, so this has led him to a life centered around self-fulfillment with little regard for the morality of his actions.
Yep.
Right. Let's see. He doesn't go out of his way to harm anyone, but won't
spare his blade if the money is right.
won't turn down job in most cases. All right. So now we have our stats. We have how old do you want him to be?
So this was going to be a good question. So I want him to be under 100.
Okay.
Because it plays into the lore that I'd like to follow with it, and that's just him not having a memory, with elves being able to remember their past lives. I would like it to where Ravi doesn't, and he kind of just looks at it to where it's, it's more or less like he almost thinks it's the elves kind of just lying, something that because he's not seen it. So I want him to be under 100, if that's cool.
All right, so we'll just go with 85.
Okay.
Now we can either do random height and weight generation, or you can just pick something.
I'd rather just pick.
Okay.
Average height for an elf is.
Males tend to be actually in D&D. They are actually quite small. Quite small in comparison. So, the way that random table generator works. By the way, your standard elf isn't considered an adult until 110 years old. So, but that is not a physical trait. That is a mental trait. Because they age, they age, like a human almost until they're, I want to say 20s, 30s. Like they still 30s. Grow at the same speed. But typically, your elves have a period of time where they are reliving the memories of their past lives, coming to terms with it, kind of bringing it into themselves, and then more or less locking it away to be this new person that they are. They have a very intense bond with their soul, really. Like they can, it's very spiritual. Like elven souls are recycled and they know it.
That's a trip. It's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Imagine, what would you do? Okay, an elf passes away and then like comes back as like a baby and then gets old enough and was like, hey, did you know I used to be your son?
That is something that is technically possible, but it's also it's also kind of taboo for them to talk about it.
I get
it's a really personal thing.
I get it. That would be gnarly.
But fun story, drow don't go through that. Dark elves don't. But
they don't.
That has a lot more to do with why they are the way they are. So,
Okay.
as much as everybody says, drow is racism, no, in lore, it's actually deifically caused. It is a divine and technically demonic thing. It's not like, yes, it is a race thing. They are a race of elves. But people don't hate them because of the way they look. People hate them because they were assholes. And that, over time, changed them to make to look the way they do.
Yeah, evil.
They were because they have dark skin and white hair. They're literally like a mirror inversion of standard elves.
I know exactly. I already know.
Light skin, right?
Exactly.
It's literally like a mirror.
I used to be Dro every character in Skyrim. I was always a dark elf.
Yep.
Always. Battle mage, dark elf.
I tended to play just about everything except for Bretons. All right, so back to your question. How big are elves? Well, an elven male can be anywhere from 4'7" to 5'5".
Oh, so I guess we'll go. I guess 5 foot, 5'2".
Okay. So we're just gonna put this in inches. So 5'2" would be 64. And the reason I'm doing it in inches is because this is one of those squares that can break the whole thing. You put an apostrophe in here, and all of a sudden it goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. So 64 inches, or well, technically 60 inches would be 5 foot, so 62. So you're 5'2".
Okay. Then we'll say 105 pounds.
105 pounds. Well, I was going to say the way that they do this is actually pretty interesting. So your standard elf at 4'5" would weigh 85 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you take your height modifier and you multiply it by your weight modifier. So having picked 5'2", that is 7 times, and then we roll a d6, right? 7 times 4, 28. That puts you at what, 113?
Sure. Yes.
I mean, weight really.
I'll take that.
Out of that.
I'll take it. Oh, where'd
right.
my
eye color?
I wanted it to be. I want it to be like grayish, almost grayish.
Okay, so we'll just put gray. All right, hair color.
Long black, baby. Long and black, baby.
All right, skin color.
I want to say almost a naturally tan. We'll say a naturally tan, but pale. I don't want to say pale. I guess I wouldn't know what to do. Let's say olive. That would actually work.
Pale would make sense because of the organization, actually.
Yeah, and it would also because he spends his time, yeah. So yeah.
Let me discuss this organization a little bit. Okay. All right. So here we go. As I stated earlier, and forgive me for the pronunciation of this, I am not that nerdy. It would be if it was Undercommon or Drow. Zion Vetan, brother of the Ivory Knight, literally translated to Ivory Knight brother. This is a group of elven spies, assassins, and thieves. They unofficially report to the Telquest embassies. These are the guys who are that if they are caught committing any sort of crime, they're taken to the embassy instead of the local constable. They're the fixers for the elves, and yeah, Ravi's going to be one of their associates. So now, will the characters in the game know that? That's up to Ravi. But more or less, at this point, you have been more or less hired to help Felix. Felix doesn't want to be a eunuch, so you're there to help him not be.
It was a eunuch. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, yes.
They say somebody who ain't got no balls.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I
now,
I'll talk to you off the camera
mhm.
about it, but I want to know if maybe I have like a job from the Ivory Night, and or if I forget, I can't say the other name. I'm not gonna try it, dude. I am not gonna try it.
Just practice more.
You,
Just practice
you.
more, and you should be good. All right, so.
So, but I don't want to say it on straight. But maybe there's something because that'll help me be able to push.
Yes. So,
Do you know what I mean?
For anybody who wasn't watching last time, group got captured, and Felix got a cursed ring that typically they're used to enforce debts. So somebody borrows money from Plus, fails to pay it back, or at least make any sort of payment, the ring tightens up and eventually will break or cut the person's finger off. Felix had one of those put on him a little lower. So he can't take it off by himself, and it's linked to a ring that one of the newly revealed bad guys has on his person. So he's using that as a way to manipulate Felix.
So we're trying to get that off.
Yeah.
It's not a good situation. It's not a good situation for no one, but
it's not funny. Not funny at all. Now,
we'll make it past.
Yes. So, all right. Let's keep going. So,
I'm on a job.
All right. So, next up, we need to apply your Elven bonuses and penalties and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Okay. So, elves. Starting here, page 16 of the player's handbook, it starts laying out things that elves can do just because they are elves. Which, for the most part, carry over. Like, there's nothing that I would really change. So, we're going to do this one step at a time. So, you get +2 to your dexterity. You lose 2 to your constitution. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You are medium-sized. So, we'll make sure that is selected because that medium size changes a whole lot of things. Base land speed is 30. Now, in conditional modifiers, immune to sleep. So, elves don't sleep. They don't. They meditate. They don't actually sleep.
Right.
So, immune to sleep and +2 versus enchantment effects.
Sweet.
All right. Now we'll go over here to special abilities, and under special abilities, I'll put low light vision. Basically, if there's a light source around, you can see twice as far as a human would. Candle lights up a room more for you. You're comfortable in starlight, stuff like that. You can't
definitely
see in the dark.
Right. Just low light. Like, in other words, no dark cave, but at night you're gonna see okay.
Yeah, you'll. If it's above ground and natural lighting, you
should
pretty much
be all
good.
right. Yep. Okay.
They are also proficient culturally with longsword. Actually, you know what? No. This is where, as a DM, I'm going to make a call and say elves differ here. You're not automatically proficient with long swords, rapiers, longbows, and short bows. You're proficient with longbow, short bow, elven thin blade, elven light blade. Okay. And I will pull up the book for these so you can see them.
Okay.
Basically, they function much like rapiers do, but they're technically exotic weapons. So, this is where the elves, have focused their cultural stuff more onto things that the elves would have culturally, themselves
It
out.
had, yeah, definitely.
So this is going to be over in Races of the Wild. Weapons, and let me give you a quick blurb on these weapons real quick. So, an elven light blade does one. It is more or less a rapier. Okay, it really is. It weighs 1 pound. It does 1d6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
It has a critical range of 18 to 20.
And
it's double damage. Okay, just like a rapier would be.
So with the critical, if I rolled an 18 and up, would that do?
That would be. You would threaten it. Yes.
Okay.
Now an elven thin blade is the same thing, except it deals a d8 damage. So it's a long sword with the rapier's crit range. There is
a piercing type. Okay.
There is one size higher than that, called an elven court blade, which is basically a bastard sword that does 18 to 20 crit range, but it's an exotic weapon, even for, even in this case. So I have two. If you want the biggest one, you gotta do it because it's two-handed and all that stuff. But
no,
we're replacing the other two. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I've replaced those two things.
It is canon. I did have a question. It's more or less a favor to ask of you. I almost wrote it to you, but I had to I wanted to save it for this. So in the last campaign, I had a ring. Do you remember what this ring that I had was?
Off the top of my head, no, but I know that I should.
It was, I strictly wanted, because it wasn't really used as much as it should have. Well, I shouldn't say as much as it should have. It didn't really need to be used as much. The ring with the bee in it that came out, the mechanical bee. And can I please say that is a family heirloom? I really want to bring that with me. Even if it's just the bee, it can be useless if you want.
It was a clockwork mender. So basically, yeah, it summons a killer hornet sized bee.
Yes.
That is really just a mechanical creature that can repair items. That's really what it does. It
mends to my blades. We'll just say.
Yeah, we'll say 10 minutes per day to repair items.
I'm so excited about this right now. You don't even know. That is super awesome.
Now, that being said, cannot be used in combat.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm just making sure you understand it. Yes, you can have it sit there and repair all kinds of stuff for you, because it repairs like a D4 points of damage per round, which is a lot, technically. You can't use it in combat.
Okay.
That is, I'm putting my foot down on that. No, you cannot summon it and have it fight in combat, despite it having a stat block as a creature. This is
okay. We will say
this is more aesthetic.
Yes, I'll simply say, because that bee is it's like my best friend.
Yep.
So I wouldn't put him in combat, but whenever I'm sitting down, I let him out, and he just fucking on my blades and on my stuff. And
you goes around and does his bee thing. Friendly with him.
Yes, always.
All right.
Wasp not.
Wasp not, want not. All right. So, now, here we go with all your bonuses. All right.
Okay.
+2 listen. So I'm going to put this in your miscellaneous modifier.
Okay.
Okay, so listen. Boom. 2.
Shazam.
Okay. Search. Okay. Your spot checks. And listen, search, and spot. And as a special ability, if passing within 5 feet of hidden door, auto search check, as if looking for it.
As if looking for it.
As if you were
Okay.
actively looking for it, because somebody might get a, like a search check, kind of just. I might just tell them
Right.
to randomly roll one, but then give them a penalty on it
Uh-huh.
because they weren't paying that much attention. An
Right.
elf, no, they get it as if they're actively searching for it.
Cool. They're so intent, them damn elves.
All right, languages: Common,
There's
Elven, and
if,
three others.
three others.
Three others.
Celestial. I know it sounds.
Nope, that's fine. Celestial. What else?
We're going to keep it within the realms of would it be goblinoid, goblin,
Goblin. Okay.
and draconic.
Draconic. Okay. All right.
I want to say that.
Now, actually, you know what? We need to not pick Celestial. Reason being is because their bonus languages are Draconic, Gnoll, Gnome, Goblin, Orc, and Sylvan.
What Celestial is?
It's not on their list.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. That sucks.
Well, that's just
that's
for
my way.
That's just
that's
for
my
Celestial.
way to that's my way of talking straight to you, man. Okay, so what was my choices again? Oh, we had Orc. Oh, here we go.
Draconic, Gnoll, Gnome, Goblin, Orc, Sylvan.
It's got to be Sylvan then.
Sylvan? Okay.
Yeah.
Which is funny because if you look at it, I love the way they worded this. Elves commonly know the languages of their enemies and of their friends, as well as Draconic. Of course, they followed up with the language commonly found in ancient tomes of secret knowledge, but still, it's just, if you could just cut it off there, it's like, they know the language of their friends and enemies, and Draconic. Just leave it there.
Just gonna leave that in there. Well, that kind of works out good too, because how I was just envisioning right now with the languages is, I had the Sylvan, which isn't that kind of amongst Elven people, usually spoken amongst.
So some of the elves use it a little bit more frequently, but they also use it to speak to the Fae, like fairies, centaurs, stuff like that.
Okay, so around that, because they could be in that realm. Yeah. So I think that's cool. I can always play it back like that's a part of the culture of why I know these certain languages, is because that's what's brought.
I will actually, while I'm thinking about it, I will just send you this bit straight on Discord. There you go. Piece of information that has not been made public yet about this world.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I know something that you don't know. No.
Does that, so you remember that cultural bit that I said?
Yes.
Does it make sense now?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait. If you're talking, I'll talk about it later. But if you're talking about the reasons why they
don't do certain things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm on it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. though. That's really cool.
I like I said, I have fleshed them out. It just hasn't come to light yet.
Right.
So, all right.
Fleshlight.
All right.
You fleshed them out. It just hasn't come to light.
Yep.
You fleshlight them.
See, senor. Okay. So, and because you have that 1 point, excuse me, from being level 4, your dex is going up to a 20.
Right. And does that go to? That's going to play in.
That jumps out to your reflex saves, your armor class, your initiative.
Okay.
Now we're going to start on your class portion. Okay.
The fun part.
This is where dice starts getting rolled and all that stuff.
This the other parts are fun too, because whether you guys know it or not, so me going through this right here, I'm also starting to build the character in my head more in this realm. So it's kind of, I'm seeing where I'm going to take it as well. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, DM?
I am picking up what you were putting down, sir.
Yes, yes. I am picking up what you are putting down.
All right. So, hit dice. So, rogues have a d6 for their hit dice. Level 1, you automatically have 6 of those 6. So,
Right,
what I will do is I will use my fancy dancy dice roller on here and roll 3d6. Wow, you got a really good average on there.
That is what's up.
You got 2 6s and a 3. That is pretty good. So you got a total of 15 plus the 6 is 21.
21.
That's 21 just from dice. Plus 2, your constitution modifier per level. So that is 15, 21 plus another 8.
23.
So 29.
29. Wow. Dude, that's pretty cool.
That's way better than Bigley had, right?
100%. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, no. Bigley was at because I got lucky with my rolls.
Yeah, Bigley was pretty much up there. He just got hit really easy.
Yes. Yeah, I could get snacked. I could get tossed up.
But that was kind of
he was adorable.
That was
yeah, it is.
Bigley. Like
it is, and it still is. Like he's going to. There's going to come to. Like hopefully when he comes back, he's gone out. He's got to travel the world. He's got to see, reach his little dreams and everything like that, and learn some cool stuff along the way. So, he can come back and help out the party a little bit more because he doesn't want to abandon his brother. He doesn't want to, but he just doesn't. He feels like he's going to get them hurt. So, he wants to go make some money. Maybe send them some money. If he does good, anything. Something else.
that could definitely be something that happens. All right.
Definitely.
So, now we hit this nice, easy part of the rogue block, right? Your table. This is where a lot of your stats or a lot of your abilities are put down, and it's super easy to go through.
Yes.
So all you do is you use the line that your level is on. You take whatever numbers are here, and then you take everything above it on the special column. Okay? So you have...
So because I learned this, so to my knowledge, you don't add them. Like when you're starting low level, let's say if you started at level 1 or first level, you have your, let's say third level, you have your +1 and your fortitude save. When you go to the 4th level, that's not another +1. That is still, you're just at +1 still.
Yep. So
it doesn't do an add-on.
Yes.
That's what you're at.
Your base save is +1.
Yes.
And then it becomes +2. Because otherwise the numbers really would get out of hand. And I know people already have that complaint about 3.5. They said, oh, well, the numbers get so high. Well, yes, especially if you do them wrong.
Yeah, your shit will just boost, yeah.
All right, fortitude. And this is another one of those blocks that I was talking about where you can screw up the sheet. You don't need to put plus anything.
What do you mean?
So I don't need to put +1 on here. I just need to put 1.
Okay.
It automatically adds it in, right? So you notice...
Okay, I saw that.
Yep. 1.
Cool.
Reflex for level 4 is 4. And 1. 1, 4, 1. Easy. Base attack bonus. This already has a plus symbol in there, so don't take it away. 3.
Definitely.
Bam. All right. And you notice that put it into grapple.
Definitely.
So your grapple is a total of +4 now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. My balance is at +5. That's cool. That actually bumps it up. Escape artist bumps up a good amount.
Yep. Everything in here that has dexterity.
Everything that's kind of what you want for a roguish.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yep. All right. So now we'll go to continue under special abilities. You have sneak attack plus 2d6. We will add that on your main page with your attacks.
Okay.
All right. You have sneak attack plus 2d6. Trap finding or trap sense +1. We'll go over that. You have evasion, which is a must-have for most things, and you have trap finding. I'll put trap finding up above on top.
Uncanny dodge. Uncanny dodge means I can't get caught flat-footed, right? I mean...
okay, so there's uncanny dodge, and then there's improved uncanny dodge.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't have...
We'll go over that.
Oh, wait, no, you do have uncanny dodge. Okay.
Yes.
I did not look down far enough. and uncanny dodge. All right, I'll take out these spaces because we're probably going to need more in the future. And we'll just put class. Bam. And take that out, put up here, and go elf. That way you know this part's for being an elf, this part's for your class.
This part's from the bloodline, this part's from the mastermind.
Yep.
I don't know.
Hey, it makes sense. All right, so skills. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this line and I'm going to check everything that you have as a class skill.
Just for being a rogue.
Just for being a rogue. So appraise, balance, bluff, climb, craft, and
already more than Bigley.
You can kind of just pick a craft to have.
Definitely. Okay.
Decipher script, diplomacy, disable device.
Nice.
Disguise, escape artist, forgery, gather information. Notice how you've only skipped 3 skills so far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's up to 5 now. Hide.
Right.
Intimidate. Jump. Knowledge. Local. That's a very specific one. Listen. Mm-hmm. Move silently.
So with that, having that local knowledge and me being, does that help me with this world more, or maybe with the areas? Okay.
Yeah. Especially, so basically the way knowledge local works is you're able to say like, oh, hey, yeah, we're in Manibus. Yeah, this is it's one of the Western Arms out in Pontaley. They serve a lot of pike here. It's, kind of the staple of their diet. And there's this old dude who lives up on the hill up that way. I've never met him, but I've heard about him. This old dude, turns out he can make sculptures out of horse dung that taste like cotton candy. Like you just right, just
it's a fucking beautiful thing. I know it sounds gross, but it's actually beautiful.
Yeah, right.
It's a work of art.
you can go into an area with an idea, pretty much already knowing, through rumors or stories or stuff that you've heard. Hey, what's going on here? Sometimes that means you already know who local figures are.
Right.
Right.
And I would be known throughout, at least if there's other elves. Would that mean in this, like, we would technically, if not even met each other, but know of each other?
Yeah, there would be a pretty tight-knit social ring amongst the elves, even for those who don't fit in. Like
yep. Still know everybody. Yep, you still know everybody in your community. Yep.
Yeah, it is a community. You don't have to like them, but you're gonna know who they are. Damn it.
Yeah, they know. Yep.
Because who knows? Maybe 200 years from now, you're gonna need their help, and it's good to know who they are and what they like and where they're at. So.
Right.
Or where you might find them, stuff like that.
No ride search. Oh wait, we didn't get there. I'm sorry.
Okay, so perform. You can choose a performance type here if you want. Profession, you can choose a profession if you want. So you can have some, like, just a side gig.
It's got to be fixing stuff.
A big one that people often choose for profession, because profession you can actually earn a daily wage with, right?
Okay.
One that is often picked is sailor. If you have ranks in profession sailor, you can actually sail different size ships.
Okay.
So,
and maybe getting a boat.
Yeah.
That could be.
And you gotta remember, there's a lot of skill synergies in 3.5. So, having so many ranks in bluff will give you some bonuses in other places.
I wonder if we got to a point as well, could be something if we ended up getting a boat and Robbie was the captain that took us places. Even if I played as Bigley, Robbie could be the captain of the boat. Oh, that sucked. That sucked. Tell her have a good night. Tell her have a good night.
Freya, good night. Goodbye. too bad. Close the door.
Ew, you're on my toe.
Yeah, close the door. I don't need sleep paralysis demon staring at me. That's you.
Or do you?
I don't want to be staring at you.
That's what you do. You just stand there and stare at me. Good night, Freya.
Oh, that was loud. Oh, that scared me.
Okay.
Because I forgot how far away, so I didn't think the depth perception.
Yeah, sorry. She wanted to say goodnight and then wanted to
don't
stand there.
Do not be sorry. Them, y'all deal with my little sleep paralysis when they come in. They scare me though too. I'm like, oh fuck, every time. Oh.
Yeah. No. Well, what gets me is right here, where my hand is at, is where they're like, I'm touching the corner of their door. So when we're playing Phasmophobia, if I turn at all while I'm playing, I can see the door crack and swing open just a little bit, and it's pitch black on the other side.
So you're like, oh fuck. Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of, also, if you're do the channel, we'll play Phasmophobia during the weeks or throughout the week as well, whenever we can. So. Yeah,
I mean, if we have a chance, we can. I know I'm going to be kind of busy a little bit later on this week, but we shall see.
I'm going to be busy throughout this whole month. Man.
Yeah. All right. So, skills. Carrying on. Skills. Right?
Spot
So
or sense motive.
We're at search.
Yes, sir.
Sense motive. Sleight of hand. So, sleight of hand is how you steal stuff from people. That's how you pick pockets. Really hard to do. I was going
to say +5 already on it, so that's pretty good.
It's against their spot check. So,
spot is... That's wisdom?
Yes.
Oh.
So, the way they broke it down, intelligence is something you have to think about. Wisdom is something that it's kind of like your perception of the world in general, right? So, a higher wisdom means you're paying attention to sounds more. You're paying attention to, smells and colors and stuff like that.
Right.
Just it's your instinctual automatic reactions. So, somebody who's really smart can search a room and find all those fine details. But, the guy with the higher wisdom, he's just like, hey, dude, why are you standing in the corner over there? Like, I know it's dark, but I can see you. Like, you're not hiding.
Right. Okay.
So swim,
I see that.
Tumble, and use magic device and rope. So you have a great big laundry list of skills that you will have to put stuff into.
Yes.
We will not allocate that now.
No problem.
What we'll do is the number of skills you have. Okay. I'm just going to put that on the miscellaneous notes page. Okay.
Okay.
So the way skill points work, you have 8 plus your intelligence modifier. So 8 plus 3, that's 11.
Okay.
Times 4, so you have 44 at level 1. Okay.
Shit, and then it's plus 12?
Plus 11.
Plus 11.
Well, technically it's plus 33 because it's 11 per level after that. So you have a total of 77 skill points.
At level 4.
Yep. Max ranks of 7. Okay.
So I can only go to 7?
You can only put 7 points in this ranks column for any one skill.
I see what you mean. Okay.
So
because I was worried about that because I was like, balance is already at +5. So I was like, I can only go to 7. You know what I mean?
It is 7 ranks.
And it's 4 plus your intelligence modifier?
4 plus your level.
Plus your level.
Oh,
okay. Wait,
hold on. 44 plus another 3, that'd be 77. It is your level plus 3. It is your level
plus 3. Yeah.
So at level 1, you can have a max of 4. Level 2, you can have a max of 5.
Right. Okay.
Now, I will briefly show you this page. You're gonna want to write this, or you're gonna want to look at this section after you fill out your skills because you might get some other bonuses, and you'll want to write them down in the miscellaneous notes. Okay.
Okay.
We'll jump over here and look at it so you can see why you need to pay attention. Skill synergy.
Yeah, synergy.
Synergy. So
what is synergy?
basically,
You're like, so I'm trying to show you over here. You're all
your talent and skills bleed over into other skills, right? So
okay.
if you have 5 or more ranks in bluff, it gives you a +2 bonus on diplomacy checks.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
+2 on disguise checks to act in character.
What page is this?
This is page
66.
Yes, page 66.
Okay.
Okay. So make sure you go through and look at all these, right? Because some of them are situational and some are blanket. +2 in or +5 in, or 5 in bluff gives you +2 diplomacy, right? Now come down here to sense motive. That also gives you another +2 on diplomacy.
So that's +4. Jeez. Okay.
That is how Felix is so good at a lot of stuff, because his skills synergize together.
I see. And if I could get on the same now, oh, see, I wonder how Felix is going to play that. Now, I wonder, is it like a world thing? People think differently of elves. Of course, they're pissed off because Bigley just left. But is their perception on elves going to be the same?
That will be up to the individual characters.
Right.
We have provided the
It's just things I think about.
Yeah. And hey, those are good questions to ask. And maybe, that will make the players think about, hey, how do we want to interact with this elf? Okay, so back up to classes, rogue. Bam. Okay. So we'll go over some of your stuff, probably type some more things down, and then carry on to the next part.
Okay.
All right. So,
what does it say? Trap fighting. Oh, okay. All that stuff up there. That's right. Yeah.
Weapon proficiencies. Okay. Under class. Okay. Proficiencies. Okay. You have all simple weapons, hand crossbow, rapier, short bow, short sword. And you could use light armor, but not shields.
Is an elven thin blade a short sword?
Well, remember, you have proficiency with the thin blade and light blade from being an elf.
That's
what
I
made that change for this world.
And are those going to be weapons that I have readily?
Those are weapons that, yes, you will be able, you will have access to. They're more expensive than their non-elven counterparts, right? An elven light blade is a lot more expensive than a longsword, but it doesn't function the same. It's like 100 gold for an elven light blade and like 50 for a thin blade versus like 15 and like 20 for a rapier or longsword. But there's a lot of...
It's also a sense of class, culture
it's a class thing, cultural thing, very much so. All right, so you have sneak attack. We already put that down. They have to be flat-footed or flanked or helpless of some variety. Basically, can't have their dex bonus. They have to have a functional, discernible anatomy.
I'm sorry, who does?
Whatever you're attacking. So, undead, constructs, plants, oozes, things like that. You cannot sneak attack them, right?
Okay, yep.
It has to be alive, and it has to have organs that you can find that aren't moving around.
Right, okay.
That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, so the basics, can't sneak up on a skeleton.
Yeah. Undead, constructs, oozes, plants, and ghosts.
Oh, right there, yes. It says
anything that is immune to critical hits you cannot hit with the
Bigley,
sneak attack.
He can't sneak up on you. Yeah, man, that's kind of freaking cool. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day.
There's prestige classes that let you do it.
That he can sneak attack ghosts?
Ghosts, constructs, stuff like that. Yeah. There's prestige classes that let them do it.
Oh, Jesus. Well, fuck me then. Yeah. Just don't worry, Bigley. Right now, Robbie can't touch you.
It's a lot of time and effort to get there.
Yeah, you're good for right now, buddy. All right.
All right. So trap finding, rogues can find traps that have a DC higher than 20. Non-magical traps that has a DC of 20 or higher if it is well hidden. Finding a magic trap has a DC of 25 plus the level of the spell used to create it. So really, you're never going to see a DC higher than like 34.
Okay.
Unless, somebody took some effort to really try to hide it. They can also use Disable Device to disarm magic traps and standard traps.
Mm-hmm.
DC of the trap is going to be 25 plus the level of the spell used to create it. So even a level 1 magic trap is a DC 26.
Damn. Okay.
A rogue who beats a trap's DC by 10 or more with a Disable Device can study it, figure out how it works, and bypass it without disarming it. So if you ever want to leave the trap there, in case somebody's coming in behind you.
Now, would that work? How would that work for the party? Would they still be able to successfully go past it? Because I know
it flat out says and bypass it with her party, because they're
Cool.
using Lydia right here.
No,
Right,
yeah.
Lydia
No,
right
that's
here.
I already
So with the party, you and the whole party can move past it. Basically, you figured out, oh, look, if I take my knife and I just put it right here, it stops the spring. So we can go past it, and then I just pull the knife and we carry on. Stuff like that.
So if it's like what's the lowest that it can be at? 20?
Well, I mean, technically a trap can be lower. But yeah, DC
But you're
20,
basic.
DC 20 or higher is something that only a rogue can do.
So if there's a trap that's 20 and I roll 30, I will know this trap and be able to go past it.
Yep. And bypass
Sweet.
it without triggering it or disarming it.
Sweet.
So it's a good way to hide the evidence of your passing. If somebody comes in and all their, shotgun traps are, like, oh, hey, they cut all the strings here. The shotguns didn't fire. Oh, whatever the case may be. Right. Okay. So evasion. If you have to make a reflex save against damage from a spell. Okay. Basically, any attack that gives you a reflex save and you make your save, you take no damage instead of half damage.
Fun.
Yes. So that is how evasion works. Improved evasion later is sick because even if you fail, you basically take half damage.
A red dragon, fiery breath, or fireball. She instead takes no damage.
Yep.
So during the evasion, I wouldn't take, so I would take no damage. That's cool.
If you make the save.
That's fine. That's a successful save.
All right. So trap sense. A rogue's trap sense gives them a +1 bonus on reflex saves made to avoid traps and +1 AC against attacks made by traps. So if you accidentally trigger the trap, you have a +1 to your save and or +1 to AC to avoid it.
Okay.
Uncanny,
and +2 when it gets up. Okay.
Yep. Uncanny dodge. You retain your dex bonus to AC if you have any, which of course you do, even if you're caught flat-footed or struck by, or struck by an invisible attacker. You lose your dex bonus still if you are immobilized. So if you were paralyzed, you don't get your dex bonus because you ain't moving. But if you're not immobilized, you still have that chance to twitch out of the way.
Definitely.
So those are your special abilities for being a rogue at level 4. All right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
They are the bee's knees. I'm going to definitely have to go into level or page 66 because I want to check all that out because that's actually how I'm going to build it.
Yep.
Build my character. And then once you get me or when you send me this stuff over, I'll just go off of here straight up.
Okay, so we will do some attacks. Now, do you want the short sword version or do you want the long sword version for your attacks? Oh, shit. You know what? No, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We need to do your feats. We did not do feats.
A long time since I've had a pedicure, dude.
I know.
If we could. Oh, these feats. Man. Oh, I tried. No, I
All right. Acquiring feats. So the way you acquire feats is 1 for level 1. Everybody has 1 at level 1. At level 3 and every 3 levels after. So you currently have 2.
2 feats.
Unless.
Thank God.
And remember, our rule for creating characters is player's handbook plus 2 other books. Okay? I do not consider equipment another book. Okay?
Okay.
I'm talking skills, feats, classes, anything like that is a player's handbook and 2 other books. So your thin blade and light blade will not count as Races of the Wild because it is a piece of gear, not a feat or an ability that you're taking, right?
Okay.
So I can already tell you, I know at level 1, you want to take Weapon Finesse.
Yes.
Okay. I probably spelled that wrong. Okay. Which means you have 1 more. So Weapon Finesse, use Dex to hit, not damage. Okay. You get your dexterity to hit, not to damage.
And feat is something that I don't have to call it, do I? I don't have to say weapon finesse. It happens, right?
It depends on what. So weapon finesse is something you're going to use all the time.
Right.
If you took something like power attack, certain feats do have to be declared that you're using them, but most of them do not. Okay. So example, power attack. It's before you roll, right? If you're like, I'm going to use power attack, I have 3 points of base attack bonus. I'm going to ditch all 3 for +3 damage, and then you roll. So you're declaring it beforehand. That way you can't change it afterwards and be like, oh, by the way, that was with +3 on power attack. No. You just say it beforehand. But weapon finesse is an all the time thing, so you're good.
Oh, dang it. I'm sorry. I was looking at rapid shot right now. I was thinking that would be because my dexterity is at. I was just thinking that'd be cool to do an attack and then be able to fire off one. Boom.
Yep. The thing is, remember, there are prerequisites for most feats.
Right. I was checking out. Yeah. I was getting. So in order to do that one, you have to have point blank shot.
Yep. So you have to have point blank shot here and a dexterity of 13. It's basically like flurry of blows, but ranged. You take a -2 on the second one.
Is there anything that can help me with my reflexes more? I want to be very either good, precise with my hitting, or very hard to hit. Or actually, I want to be both.
Okay.
Very precise. My attacks are fucking. I try to go for that kill shot, or I want to make sure something doesn't kill me, or something to where attack of opportunities, anything like that.
Let me scroll down and look at this because this might be pretty cool later on in the right situation. Okay. So, this is something that you could build toward. It's a recommendation. It's not something you necessarily have to do.
Right.
But you can feint in combat. Not like, feint, but, you can feint in combat. Do the, you thought I was going to do this, but instead, right? Now, normally, you do that, and that is a standard action. Okay? Which means you don't get to attack again after that. But when you feint, it removes the enemy's dex bonus to their AC. Okay?
Okay.
Making them easier to hit in general. There is a feat that you can take called Improved Feint, where you feint as a move action instead, so you still get your attack afterwards.
So
to feint in combat, it is a bluff check.
And then what is my bluff at?
That is, well, if you maxed it out, right? If you put your 7 points in there, you would have a +8 to it.
+8.
Barring any synergy bonuses.
Right. I was going to say, depending, because I'm pretty sure plus this synergy, which is a world. Oh my gosh, that's going to open up so much right now. And then also, I'll look into books for rogues, and also want to look into books for bards as well.
There is a book for each. Technically, there's 2 for rogues and 1 for bards, but one of the rogue ones kind of bleeds over to anything rogue-ish. So there's stuff for bards in there. There's a lot of stuff for bards and rogues that are out there. They're just spread out amongst many books, so you kind of got to pick and choose. If you want to be harder to hit, take combat expertise. You trade attack bonus of up to 5 points and put that in your AC for the round, basically.
Trade it. Okay.
So you have a base attack bonus of +3, meaning you can take 3 points off to hit to gain +3 to your AC. So even without armor, hey, you have an AC of 18 all of a sudden.
So,
But you're then relying only on your dexterity to hit. So it's a trade-off. That's an option. Dodge is also one. It is kind of a generic one, and it leads to some pretty good stuff afterwards. Dodge gives you a +1 AC against a target. So basically, you go into combat and you say, dodge on that dude, right?
Wouldn't my total be, my base attack bonus? Yep. Okay.
Yes.
I was looking down it. I saw base attack bonus and I didn't see grapple right here on the set. I was like, wait, isn't that 4? I have 4. But no.
Yeah, your grapple would be.
4,
yeah. Basically, the way dodge works is you go into combat, right? You're like, oh, hey, look, that's Vitus over there. I'm going to use dodge on Vitus. Gives you a +1 to your AC. So instead of having an AC of 15 right now, against a Vitus specifically, it is 16.
Right.
And then on the next round, you might be like, oh, Vitus is a little bitch who can't hit me. I'm going to instead put dodge on this dude because he looks like he's going to hit me harder. So you can change it every round on your turn.
Okay, so it doesn't stick to the target?
It does. You can leave it on that target, but you pick a target and you gain +1 to AC. And then if you want to change it on somebody later, you change it on your turn. Easy enough.
Most definitely. Is there... Well, see, that one always... Okay, well, let's see. Rolls, miss, combat casting.
Yep.
Combat expertise.
And there's a whole lot more on the second page. And this is just the player's handbook. Right? Hell, if you wanted, you could take 2 weapon fighting.
Dex 50, yeah. So what's the penalties of fighting with 2 hands?
Depends on the size of the weapons that you're using. So let's go down to...
So if I was using...
2 weapon fighting actually breaks it down for you. Okay? Like the description down here does. 2 weapon fighting. Let's say you pick up 2 longswords. Okay? 2 weapon fighting. Okay. 2 weapon fighting. Here we go. 2 weapon fighting, page 160. Okay. If you don't have any feats and you're using 2 longswords, in your primary hand, whichever, it could be left or right, whatever your primary hand is, you would take a -6 on your first attack and a -10 on your other hand.
Okay.
That's with 2 longswords.
Right.
Okay. You make your offhand weapon a light weapon. So we'll say a longsword and a dagger, because I know a dagger is a light one. Okay.
Right.
It is now -4 and -8. Okay. You take 2 weapon fighting, it is -4 and -4. If your offhand weapon is light and you have the 2 weapon fighting, it is -2, -2. So if you had a light blade in one hand and a thin blade in the other,
they're both light.
You would take -2. -2 on both attacks. But, that's a +6 to hit instead of a +8 for 2 weapons. Now, cool thing about a rogue. Okay? If you start off combat and you've snuck up on somebody and you're going to get that surprise attack, or somebody starts out next to you and you are flanking them, you get your sneak attack damage on both weapons.
Really?
Yes.
That is pretty dang cool.
Whichever weapon, any weapon that hits, you get your sneak attack damage.
Are you able to switch from one hand to 2 hand? Like, let's say if I wanted to be like switch from...
Depends. Okay. And the reason I say that is because it is a move action to put a weapon away or draw a weapon.
What about to drop it?
Dropping it is a free action.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted to drop that thin blade or that smaller weapon and 2-hand the bigger one, you could do that. Now, that's not going to do much. You're going to gain another +1 on your damage based off of your strength currently. We're not at magic
Right.
items yet. Then, it's going to be like, okay, +1 damage, whatever.
Right.
So, there's a lot of, there's some pros and cons to it. It really is. You kind of got to weigh it. If I'm doing a combat-oriented rogue, I fight with 2 weapons. I tumble into combat so that I'm behind the enemy. An ally comes up and charges them, and now I'm getting double sneak attack damage because I'm stabbing him with both my weapons. I'm flanking him, right? So, that's the combat rogue. And then once that guy's down, roll out of the way, get behind somebody else, start stabbing away again. Problem is, you tend to your feats really go into combat at that point instead of anything that you could do that wouldn't necessarily be combat.
Right. And I don't want to break. Well, I shouldn't say, because that would still be all right. But no, because I don't think, I don't see Ravi as a type to have 2 weapons in hand. Attacking twice he'll do if he can, but having 2 weapons in hand, I think that he thinks. I know that he would. I know. Of course, he knows it. I'm him. Damn it. He would feel too vulnerable.
Yeah.
Not enough, because you can go in, get a quick attack, sneak in, get the attack in, and leave.
Yeah.
Try to
Now, remember, there's also skill-based feats that you can take.
Which I actually want to look at those, because I might want to do those. I do have a question to ask you. Actually, in combat, let's say if I'm seen. Okay, like let's say I get an attack in, which obviously is going to give off my position.
Okay.
Like I do an attack. Let's say it's a kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
I kill him. I am obviously going to alert the people by me. Can a rogue, or can I be able to go and hide?
Okay.
And
My
restart.
My brother and I have discussed this. Okay. Normally, you do take. Well, okay. Let's just be. You take like a -10 penalty to your hide check when that happens. Straight
Right.
off. Okay. And normally you have to move, then attack the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unless you have something like spring attack, you can't move after your melee attack. But you can basically you kind of split a standard action between 2 turns, right?
Uh-huh.
So the way it would work is you would move in, right? You'd move up,
Ready?
and half of your attack would be in 1 turn, and then the next time, or it's kind of complicated, and it's not really good in a lot of situations. But you could technically come up, begin your attack on 1 turn, but never really complete it.
Uh-huh.
And then complete it at the beginning of your next turn, and then move and hide.
Well, let's put it in
So
this sense.
It's kind of complicated. I'm sure he will be able to describe it better.
No, I get what you mean.
It is an option.
I was just thinking of 1 guard in front of me, another guard 30 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm with the party, but let's say I take out guard 1. Guard 2 sees that 30 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
He has a party dealing with him that's going to be coming at him possibly. But am I still able to go back and, well, no, because I still get flanking bonuses, right? Mm-hmm. So doesn't that kind of compensates for it? Because even flanking, well, dude, no, because sneak and flank are 2 different things, right? I can get bonuses for both of those.
Well, sneaking is a skill, and flanking is more or less a status effect, right? So flanking is you're here, the enemy is here,
yep,
and you have an ally over here in some
okay form. I see. Okay, I get flanking now. Well, if I'm behind somebody, have I flanked them? Are they in flanking position, or is that sneak position? How does that work if I'm alone?
If they don't know you're there, they're flat-footed against you.
Okay.
They're caught unawares by your presence, meaning you can really target where that attack goes, and that's where your sneak attack damage comes in.
Okay.
So, now, Which one was it? Negotiator. Okay. Here's one, and it's funny because they broke it up between two different ones. You can have the negotiator feat,
Where
which
is negotiator? Down there. There it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Negotiator, +2 bonus on diplomacy and sense motive checks. Okay. Or persuasive, +2 on bluff and intimidate checks.
What about nimble fingers? +2 on disable device and open locks. I saw persuade. The only reason I saw that because of me being a fixer.
Mhm.
So I was thinking in my head to be able to disable device pretty good. And, oh my gosh, because what if it comes down to like, okay, so I found out how to fix it, to take the thing off, but it's either I nail it or it nails you. And so I better have that good roll, otherwise it's like chump bump.
Yeah. Well, when I say, Ravi's a fixer, it's more or less hey, think John Wick, right?
Yeah.
John Wick was a fixer. We have a problem.
Okay.
Okay, go fix it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You fix people's problems one way or another.
I see. That kind of fixer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
We got a problem. Who's going to fix it? This guy. Right? So.
No, I'd go with diplomacy and sense motive checks.
Okay, if you want to go with negotiator.
Negotiator would be cool. A good way. Yeah, I want to go with negotiator.
Okay.
It's +2 to.
Yep. +2.
Diplomacy and what is it? Sense motive.
Okay. So I will go ahead and add those two on here. Sense motive 2 and diplomacy 2.
So when I go look at the skill mix-up ones, I can just put do I add it with that? Like if there's already 2 in there, would I just add another 2 on that?
Yes. So basically, yeah, you would just add 2 more in this last column. The thing to remember is it is based off of ranks, not your skill modifier or ability modifier. It is ranks. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's always whatever is in.
So how much I have put in there? Okay, so I need to have 5 in there, not 5 together. Okay.
It is 5.
Still, man, I got some numbers to work with still. So
yep, got some homework to do.
We got some. Well, I mean, even with ranks, I have a good amount of ranks.
Yes. Okay. So now, next up would be really at this point, Ravi is built. The only thing that needs to happen is
weapons,
armor, stuff. Right? So, okay. What I will do is I will send you the amount of gold that Ravi has to invest in stuff. Okay?
Okay.
Minus what kind of weapon do you want?
I want both of those allotted weapons.
Which one do you want magical?
Light blade.
The light blade, it does a D6. The thin blade does a D8.
Or the thin blade, I meant, yeah.
Okay.
The thin blade.
Okay.
To have that, because my main will be...
All right. So, I will fill these out. 1d6 plus 1. Oh, nope. Never mind. I put that in the wrong spot. Your attack bonus is going to be base attack plus dex. It is going to be 8. Your damage will be a d6 plus 1. And it is 18 to 20 times 2. Plus 2 sneak, or plus 2d6 sneak, if applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to put that down in your notes.
Yes.
And, Control B. There we go. Control V. All right. So your Elven Thin Blade is also going to be essentially the same thing, except it's going to be 1d8 plus 1, 18 to 20 times 2. And you said you want the Thin Blade to be magical, so we're going to make that a +1. Give that a 9, and damage up to 2.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sweet.
So that cuts into the amount of gold that you're going to get, but I wanted to make sure that one of these was magical right off the bat.
Okay. Sweet.
And then you, of course, here's pictures of it. These are just examples. Elven thin blade, elven light blade. So your elven.
Are those boots?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They are for. So Races of the Wild has a partial bird species.
Okay.
And that is a weapon that they can use because they fly, like they're humanoid. They have wings on their back, and they have a bow, for example, that they can fire using their feet.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
And they can dive down and shoot a bow to actually get additional damage.
I don't even care if a motherfucker can fly. If a motherfucker was to ever come at me and have boots like that, they've won the fight. Already mentally, I am beat.
Yep.
I don't know what is going to happen.
Sure. So this one right here is an example of the elven thin blade.
Okay.
Right, yeah. And this one right here is an example of number 9.
I see you. Yeah, I see you.
Is an example of the elven light blade. Right? So it's like an extra big dagger and then, a fancy longsword. Basically, hey, they're curved cutting. Oh, that is something to remember. That is something to remember.
They're piercing, both of them, right?
Yes. They are both piercing only. So type is going to be P.
Right. So those weapons not good against skeletons. I can't slash
They're
with them.
They're not good against skeletons or zombies.
I cannot slash with it.
Nope.
So I need to grab a fucking bone.
That's where daggers and clubs come in handy because
that's.
But yeah, so I will give you your allotment of cash here in the near future, so you can go ahead and start looking through stuff. You can lay out how you want your skills and everything to be.
Most definitely.
You are going to put your gear in here. Okay. So, I'm going to put in an example. Okay. This is an example. When you buy your gear, you can change this up. So padded armor. It is light. AC bonus of 1. Notice there's no pluses. Max dex. I think it's 8. Check penalty. We'll say -45. It's not actually -45. I'm just putting it in there so you can see it in action. Okay.
Okay.
If there's a negative, put a negative. And then 0 speed is going to be your land speed. We'll say 5. Now, if you look over here, look at your balance.
Jesus.
It has modified it. It has modified it, right?
Yeah, -40.
Don't put a plus on any of these.
Okay. But negatives if they need them. Okay.
Negatives if it needs it. Okay.
Right. The if statements.
So, yeah, it's weird. So
no, I get it. It's
but yes, otherwise
it's almost like
Ravi is done.
He has been built, people.
Yep. So remember on the drive, the character sheet.exe file. Just put that on your computer. You can just download it. You don't have to install it. It is literally just a double click and open it. Okay. Once you do that, it's going to load up a blank page. Just go to load every time. I have found it doesn't always load the character sheet when you double click on the sheet. But if you go in and say load this file, it works just fine.
Okay. We'll go over that off of the thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to save this as Ravi. Okay.
Ravi 2.
Ravi 2.0.
Oh, we need to bring it back 3.5 times.
This has your this miscellaneous notes page is great because you can just take notes. This is where I put my spells. when I play a spellcaster. Is I put them on this
Okay.
page. I just copy the whole thing out of the book and just paste it in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super easy. And then if you're using the program, you have a die roller back here, so you can set it and just say, "Oh, hey, look, a total of 3," or a D8 or whatever, right? This also, you can click on all your skills. You'd be like, "Oh, I want to make a balance check." Oh, well, I had a D20 minus 40. I rolled a 7, so I got a negative 33.
Shit. That's really cool too, though. Once you get it down, it's more than just the page. It's the whole.
Yeah, this
whole
technically
shebang.
has everything you need. So right here,
Shebang,
make
shebang.
a standard melee attack. No weapon, just it's something I have. Bam, D20 plus 4, right?
Right.
That's your strength plus your base attack bonus. But then you go, oh, well, I want to use my Elven Thin Blade. It even tells you Elven Thin Blade plus 1. It rolled it plus 9, or it's D20 plus 9, rolled a 9, result of an 18.
Nice.
So you can, see, tells me, hey,
Because I don't have 3.
number 3 doesn't exist. So 1, 2.
It's not there, sir.
And then, so you do your attack for 1, and then you can do your damage also.
Okay.
Now, the die roller on here isn't always great, so, because it's not the same as using physical dice. But if you ever wanted something that you could, keep a log of how well you were doing.
That's why I want to, well, even just in general, keeping a log, I think that's super cool.
So,
because I might want to have a battle one day to where, it's if I could have it.
This is my favorite one. Grapple. I rolled it. It did the thing. Make a strength check. Hey, there's a strength check. Con save. You have all these different buttons. Roll initiative. Bam.
Yep.
You have
reflex
everything
save.
Right? Reflex save.
Give me a
Fortitude.
bluff. Yeah. Give me a diplomacy check. That's cool. And then you can go down to the dice. Where's it?
So the way, if I'm like, okay, this weapon also, so we'll say you have a temporary effect, right? Or here's a good example. Okay, so you roll your attack and damage plus your sneak attack damage. So your first one, there's your Elven Thin Blade damage, and then bam, total of 6 for your 2d6 additional sneak attack.
That's awesome.
Or if you want to.
So, and they know, okay, cool. Because I was like, how does it know to roll the 20? Of course it's going to know. That's the only thing that you roll.
Well,
basically
it's
initiative. And that's what
So, look, it even filled out knowledge local, right? Because you have that as a skill.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned it into local.
Nice.
So, again, save it. There we go. And we're done. All you got to do is fill out your gear and your skills.
We will do that. We will have that done, my good sir.
Yes. Remember, it's on your notes page. 77 skill points to allocate. Max ranks of 7.
Yes, sir. I got you. Yeah, no.
Other than that, we're done. We're good to go.
So so the stream, we went over some good stuff right there also. So if this is something that if you caught on to later, you want to go over the basis of making a character, go watch it from the beginning. He went over basically everything, and it applies. This one applied to a rogue, a skill rogue, and but watch, the end result is about to be amazing. It's about to be awesome.
Oh yeah, Ravi's a great rogue. So we shall see. And we will discuss some more stuff with Ravi throughout the week.
Yes.
So that you're immediately able to get in there and you're ready to go.
100%. So I thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for sticking around or watching this later.
Let's see. Hippie CSGO. What is the biggest difference between 3.5 and 5th? Really, it's numbers. So 3.5 has a whole ton of background or additional books that you can get for it because it was fully fleshed out over years, right? So there's a lot of information there. There are numbers and mechanics for how everything works. There's variations for it too, in case you want to run it slightly different. 5th edition said, let's just streamline it. But in streamlining it, they didn't necessarily do it well. Here's how I like to break it down, okay? In 5th edition, you have a persuasion or a charisma check, okay? That is fine, except anybody can make a charisma check. A barbarian is not trained for social situations. They could try it, but they're not trained for it. And training is really what it comes down to. So they say, hey, your persuasion check, it covers everything. It doesn't, because there's a difference between bluffing somebody, trying to lie to them, trying to, be diplomatic and get somebody on your side, or your diplomacy check, or trying to scare them and be intimidating. Sometimes knowing how to do one helps with the other. So for me, the biggest difference between 3.5 and 5th is the nuance of how things are broken down. I find that with 3.5, you build and roleplay your character off of your stats, whereas 5th edition, you roleplay your character and your stats kind of come along with it. I am not a fan of the advantage and disadvantage system. Okay? 5th edition has advantage. You have an advantage on, we'll say, a rogue. I remember seeing this in some Critical Role episode. These rogues were going to try to cheat each other at a game of dice. They both had advantage on it, so they got to roll twice. Sounds easy, right? Problem is when you get into combat situations, especially a barbarian who is raging, they have advantage on their attack, but disadvantage on their defense. So you roll your attacks twice, but attacks rolled against you are rolled twice. That doesn't matter when you're just hitting everything automatically and just laying it out. 3.5, everybody followed the same rules, the same steps, and then your class made little variations. You need more attacks? Okay, you got to train better for it. There's no this feat and that feat and that feat and that feat triggering constantly like you do in a lot of 5th edition stuff. There's no legendary actions that occur during an enemy's turn or anything like that. It's, this is your turn. You can do the things. You can set up maybe a reaction by holding an action and not doing anything, but you don't get to just spontaneously do it. That's kind of what got me with 5th edition was they streamlined it in a way that broke the game. It didn't make sense. The whole idea with 5th edition is that, yeah, at level 1, you're still a hero. And you are, even in 3.5, but you get to role play that growth versus I can just do the thing. So for me, that's what it was. I am not a fan of 5th edition.
Great question, though.
That is a good question. And
Very good question.
I will rant and rave about it because my personal opinion, here's how you rate it. 1st edition, it was a tactical tabletop game. There wasn't really any role playing with it. 2nd edition wasn't bad, but the way the numbers were broken down was way too complicated for most people to enjoy it. In my opinion, 3.0 and 3.5 nailed it. You have rules. These rules can be role played very easily. The numbers make sense. They progress in a way that makes perfect sense because it scales as you get better. Your enemies scale too. So the more time and effort you put into something, the better you get at it. It just makes sense.
Also, it is really fun. It also depends on like who's your DM and who's playing as well. That can make or break a game, always.
Yeah, that very much can. 4th edition. How was 4th edition described to me? So I met this dude who played 4th edition, and I hadn't really given it much thought yet. And he's like, oh yeah, 4th edition's great. It's the best ever. Okay, how? He's like, well, I built a character, and at level 1, I can do 72 points of damage on my first turn.
What the fuck?
You're level 1. Why do you need to do that?
Yeah.
Why?
He had to have messed up numbers.
No, he didn't. He broke down how he did it. And he was like, well, every level I get another ability that I can do. And it was hilarious because he's like, I have this ability that allows me to, run up a wall and jump off of it. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, but I had to take this action. I took this action at level whatever to be able to do that. So now I can run up the wall and jump behind people. And I was like, okay, so 3.5 has skills, and that just sounds like a jump check. Like you just do it. You don't your natural progression or potential luck can let you do that. You don't need to take another ability just to pull that off. So, and the general consensus out there is 4th edition was just a straight dumpster fire. It was an absolute dumpster fire. 5th edition, I find to be hot garbage, but it ain't as bad as the dumpster fire. I've played 5th edition. I might play it again if an appropriate group of people wanted me to. But I'm going to tell them how much I don't like it and how much their rules suck the entire time. So.
Well, I'd try to have fun with it.
Oh, I would too.
I would. But my focus is on 3.5. And there's still plenty to learn even with this one. This is where I grew up with those 3.5 as well.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to change a classic.
Yeah, it is universally recognized as the best edition. Even people who play 5th are like, yeah, no, 3.5 was great. Their thing is they're not expanding the content anymore.
I was going to say maybe it's just more monsters involved and all that in 5th.
No, it's not.
More character use.
5th edition is centered more on your character as a character, not as a stat block, which is where I think most people went wrong because they go, oh, well, it's a stat block. Okay, yeah. But that stat block is your character, and you can really... What did you want to do? Ravi is a skilled rogue, right? He is a rogue who centers on skills. Look at all this stuff he can do, and he can role play those abilities out. He might not be as good as some, and he's really good at others. Do it though, right? And that's where he as a character knows my confidence is here, and my weak points are over here. So, for me, that's kind of the biggest difference. 5th edition's easy mode. And I'm not a fan of it. I like 3.5 because it makes sense across the board in progression. You have a monster for every scenario, and it is so predictable in the way things advance, whether it's a class, a character, a monster, or anything like that. You can break down the system and build your own very easily. You want a new monster? Cool, make one. You just look at some of the other monsters and start making adjustments. It is super easy and gives you some great variation. I have made several variations to fit scenarios and I accidentally got a character killed once. That's beside the point. I told them the training wheels were off.
Training wheels were off, people. This is
and it was somebody who had already gone through like 4 other characters, so I didn't feel bad about it.
Gosh. Oh.
It's not like Ravi wasn't the one who got him killed either.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was bullshit. But I wasn't the only one that thought that he went down and he was already down. So I do,
He was down. The thing jumped was able to like leap distances. Like it jumped down off and back onto a wall further back. And then you moved away. And remember, it had jumped up there in the first place.
It jumped down originally. It jumped down, and that's why I was like, oh, I can go after this fucking thing that is defenseless and not moving. And then next turn. Oh yeah, fucking dragon comes up and just tears Billy Squire. And I'm like, oh my God. Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. That specific creature hunted through basically spring attack. It moved in, it attacked, it moved out. Right?
Like a fucking...
That was its whole thing. It primarily was a swimmer, but it was also very good at jumping. So, yes, when it came up onto the rooftop that you guys were on, it leapt up and got up there, right? Just big jump right up top. It used its breath. tried to get it. It jumped down. And that's where you made your mistake, because you were like, oh yeah, I got this. Hey Billy,
I thought it was going
super
after
awesome
somebody
friend.
else. Yeah.
No, it got away from you, and then you left. So it was like, oh, okay, I got this then. Welcome. I'll just rip Billy apart.
It was nothing. He did it without blinking. There was no hesitation in the kill.
I mean, plus
okay, so Dragon fucking weird thing comes trying back, sees Billy Squire there, fucking hits him because he can't block it. Ha! Oh, Bill! Oh, poor Billy Squire. Oh, gets cut in half. What the? I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. That augmented critical is a bitch. Well, no, because remember, it came up and it attacked him once.
With the breath.
It jumped up. No, after the breath, it jumped up and bit him, and then you came running over to try to save him, and you stabbed it, and because you weren't flanking, he didn't get all your extra damage, and you were like, stab, oh shit. And the next round, it hit with 3 of its 4 attacks and just ripped Billy apart. So.
Okay, I think that it is. Oh, yeah. It was still bullshit. Not in a bad way. It makes the game.
Yeah.
It makes it's what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to feel something in the game.
Yeah.
So when I'm like,
when I had you guys kill Derek.
Yeah, well, that was cool. That was a different type of death. Because it was super cool experience. Well, how was my first death? Well, what happened? I'm sorry.
It's how I experienced character death for the first time.
My first death really hit here. Really hit home. Yeah, I know, having somebody, because we were like, oh, and we were giving him hell too, trying to talk shit. And he was fighting his heart off, and then got coup de grace, and it was just like, oh, I remember afterwards being like, man, fuck that shit. Oh, that was a good episode. Oh, that was fun. Fuck, he did that on purpose. Fuck Greg. I'm sorry, fuck the DM. Oh, he did great. He did so good there. It was a constant but a good back and forth. It wasn't even like a serious, like, man, fuck you. It was like like when your favorite character dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, man. Fuck this whole show. You watch the next season. Yeah. you still watch the show.
It's like when they cut off Ned Stark's head in the first season.
Rick Grimes.
You're just immediately just like, dude. I mean, I guess it was played by Sean Bean, so I should have expected that. But come on. They got rid of the good dude. I thought he was the main character. What the hell? You know?
Yeah, man,
But yes, now it was torturous because I made you guys do all the rolling to attack Derek.
He did all the work, and we were trying not to.
Instead
we're
of
trying not to roll,
yep.
trying not to roll good and everything. And we were hitting. I rolled a 16. No.
And Derek was tanking it, but there was that spell lasts for 24 hours. So you guys killed Derek and then just stood there at attention for 24 hours until it wore off.
You said like, okay, this is taking too long. You said something. I remember because he was fighting to put up a fight. And you're like, okay, you said something, and it basically made him vulnerable, right?
No, I had tried to paralyze him, and Derek actually succeeded on his roll to resist the spell. So it was just one of those like, yeah, well, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
There you go. But no, what better way is there to introduce the big bad evil guy than, all right, look, y'all are a pain in my ass already.
Yeah.
You're dead. You're gonna die.
Like,
The rest of you kill him.
Go ahead and kill him for me. Do what? Did I stutter? Like, oh, fuck me. I'm in a situation. So, yeah, is this where you want to end it?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it. I got to go take a shower and get to bed because I have to be up early.
Do you do that?
Yeah, this whole adulting and being at, places before anybody possibly arrives and the building opens. So.
Well, this is where we will
end it here. Remember, I'll send you the numbers. Finish fleshing out Ravi's stuff.
Spay and neuter my pets as well. I remember you told me to do that. Or Bob Saget, one of you guys told me. I don't remember which one.
I don't know, but I'm just getting Sarah McLachlan vibes right now.
In the eyes of an angel?
Yes, in the arms of an angel.
Okay.
Arms of the angel.
Well, perfect.
Yep. So,
The dogs, I swear, those dogs had to be paid because they weren't just like regular dogs that just stared like in the. They knew you had to do the side look in the arms of an angel. You kind of shake a little, like they knew their shit.
That and they were always the ugliest animals possible.
I thought they were adorable. They'd show like a puppy or a cat just looking in the arms.
Oh yeah,
Paw.
the puppies and the kittens, that's fine. But they always picked like, you know, they would have they would have the puppies and the kittens, right? But
Like they were adorable.
as Eliza Schlesinger pointed out, they would get like that one-eyed cat who's got like
Yes.
the tusk and just, and then
Yes.
like, look at this animal that needs rescuing, and it's like,
Did you see that video?
that cat looks like he's gonna put a curse on me and try to find a bunch of little blue dudes in my house.
Did you see that video? It's on the tube. Where it was like this guy who was like, yeah, we're sending out this cat for adoption. It's been a good cat, and the cat like gets all crazy, and then climbs up dude's leg and claws it. And it was, oh dude, he's like, grabs it and has to throw the cat.
Yep.
Because it was just biting and getting him. I was like, oh man.
Oh,
but yeah.
So real quick thing before we go, you remember when I played Small? I think that might have been a one shot that I did with my brother. Yes, it was Small was the halfling druid that I played. I don't think that was the one shot where you weren't there. But if I ever have a halfling on a riding dog with a spear, just know this is the picture.
So awesome.
This is the picture right here that has inspired it every single time.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at that.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Halfling out of a big old dog.
I wish.
And remember, a riding dog is a medium-sized creature. But yeah, I recommend that you go on the drive and read through this book.
Yeah, I'm actually going to jump on. Which one is?
This is Races of the Wild.
Is this for rogues?
No, this is just for elves and stuff in general. So
elves, okay.
It has like language stuff, and you'll still have a lot of the typical elven like history stuff from here. They just won't necessarily be applying it like on a modern.
Okay.
Sort of. Setting.
Well, you want to end it here?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it here. So
you guys have a good one.
Yes, everybody who came out, thank you for hanging out.
See you on Friday, probably more than likely Friday, huh?
Yeah, Friday or Saturday. It'll be one
Friday
of the two.
or Saturday.
And
8 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep, and we go for about 4 to 5 hours on average. So, next stream, it will be trying to free Felix from his unintentional bondage that still goes on to this day.
Hopefully, we can get him out of it.
Hopefully. So, okay. Later, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.